I'm gonna be honest, I really didn't think that HonkaiStarRail was gonna do this well, and I certainly did not think that I would still be here 10 days later, still playing the game. But here I am, like a crack addict, thirsty for more content, and for some of that Himeko-chan! Hi, I'm Lace, let's talk StarRail, let's talk revenue, download numbers, launch, performance, some comparisons to Genshin Impact, general sentiment, and just how the game is going overall. And before we get into it, I am going to caveat that this is only day 10, so a lot of things could actually change. And so in summary, StarRail's performance has been actually extremely impressive. Definitely one of the strongest gacha launches that we have seen ever, even when compared against Genshin Impact. So let's start talking about stats. Before the game actually launched, the pre-registrations actually hit 30 million, 21 million from China and 10 million from the rest of the world. I would actually say it was 11.5 million because I was following the site as it was going up and up all the way up until launch. And for those of you who don't know Daniel Ahmad, he is a respected analyst in the mobile game industry. So yeah, in total about 31 to 32 million pre-registrations for HonkaiStarRail. Now, if we go back to Genshin launch, it was actually only, quote unquote, only 20 million pre-registrations. That 20 million figure is not bad, right? Because it's very, very clear that Genshin paved the way for StarRail. It would honestly be crazy to say that the Genshin and HoYoverse MiHoYo brand didn't do anything for StarRail. And my guys, we will keep seeing this effect throughout the rest of this video. All right, and so that was pre-registration, and then day one happened. The game launched with 20 million downloads in one day, 24 hours. The interesting thing is that StarRail actually only launched on Android, iOS, and PC, not PS4. Because in comparison, if we go over to Genshin, they saw 17 million global downloads in the first 4 days, 24 hours, 20 million, and 4 days, 17 million. So clearly StarRail is currently actually doing better than Genshin did. But again, remember that Genshin Impact launched with PS4. And so after that, what we have is the day one revenue. Honkai versus Genshin Impact. For day one, Genshin released with your boy Venti, yielding 2.1 million USD in the China market for iOS. In contrast, we've got the HonkaiStarRail one over here, the Sealy banner, with double the revenue, 4.7 million USD in the same market, China market, iOS as well. So yeah, at this point, it still looks like HonkaiStarRail is beating out Genshin in everything. But the story does progress in a little bit of a different direction later on. But with day one out of the way, let's move on to week one. On the Apple App Store, HonkaiStarRail did 5 million in downloads and 15 million in revenue. And on Android, it did 6 million in downloads and 8 million in revenue. Lastly, we've got the Chinese iOS version, which did 3 million in downloads and a whopping 19 million in revenue, because holy moly, the Chinese know how to whale. So that comes to a total revenue of about 42, 43 million and 14 million downloads. Now, remember, the real numbers are actually going to be bigger than this. Sensor Tower, which is this website used for mobile games, does not have any data for the other CN app stores, nor the PC earnings that a lot of us are burning money into. But here, my guys, is where Genshin actually started winning. With 60 million, over here, 60 million in player spending on App Store and Google Play. This is by the same company, Sensor Tower, so they're using the same metrics. And they were able to actually do this during the week of its official launch in its first 7 days as well. And it's from here onwards that I think that Genshin is going to keep on winning. Because in its first 12 days, it was able to make $100 million USD. Now, I don't want you guys to be like, oh man, Genshin is always going to be better than StarRail or whatever. Look, I play both, I enjoy both, and this is more from like an analytical point of view, like the effect that Genshin has had on the market, the strength of the HoYo brand. I'm just so incredibly invested in like the waves that MiHoYo, HoYoverse are making in the mobile gaming industry. And so yeah, back to this figure over here, 100 million in 12 days. It's day 10 now for HonkaiStarRail. I don't think we're going to get anywhere close to that number, to be honest. And the reason for that is because Genshin Impact kind of just came out of nowhere and was widely successful, right? And that's going to be shown with this graph over here. You can see on the 28th, we launched with Genshin Impact. And then what happens here is that it actually went viral because it maintained positive growth for a couple of days before it actually went down. Now, what this graph is showing is that it actually got more popular as time went on in the first about 2 weeks of the launch, which is utterly insane. You don't normally see this unless it's like some kind of worldwide phenomenon, similar to probably like Pokemon Go. Now, StarRail, on the other hand, had what I would call a more standard kind of launch where you peaked at 100 first and then you slowly lose interest over time. Most, if not all, like normal games will follow this kind of trend. And the reason that StarRail is taking like this kind of interest is because, like I said before, the reputation was already there. The interest and awareness of the game was already there with the Genshin brand, the Honkai brand, the MiHoYo, the HoYoverse brand. And so most people who would probably be interested are already here on launch day, right here. And so if we were actually to compare the two, with Genshin's launch over here versus HonkaiStarRail's, you can see that StarRail's launch, it looks like we've got about 50% of the interest in comparison to the Genshin launch. And if we were to zoom back into each of the respective ones, so let's say like the peak of Genshin would be about there, and the peak of HonkaiStarRail is about there, then we could say that both games have probably already peaked. And it's honestly quite clear that HonkaiStarRail is not going to make the waves that Genshin Impact did. This is not unusual. This is kind of like to be expected, to be honest, because an open world game like Genshin Impact is going to appeal to a lot more people than a turn-based game like HonkaiStarRail, right? It's kind of like some people like to play Valorant, some people like to play League of Legends. Just more people like to play Valorant or League of Legends, I don't know. However, what has shocked me is the fact that there are a whole bunch of people who are like, oh, I don't normally like turn-based games, but I actually do like HonkaiStarRail. And this is actually quite prevalent, not only in the subreddits, but also like the Discords, the other communities that are kind of just floating around. I think that a lot of people came to give it a shot because of MiHoYo's reputation for high quality, beautiful games. And MiHoYo certainly delivered on that with a perfect launch, no maintenances, no downtime. It actually just worked. What is making people stay though, I think, is the usual suspects. The love for the characters, the world building, the lore, the culture, the memes, like this. Things like the sassy MC we've got over here, or the trash can memes, like this one right here, or more trash can memes, and a collective love for Himiko. I see you. The StarRail subreddit is at 212k. Over on Twitter, we've got 836k followers. On the Discord, I'm pretty sure it's like another 300 or 500k, I don't know, but it's freaking crazy. However, my guys, there is one metric that is concerning me, and that is the amount of doujins on your boy nh.net. As you can see, it is at a fat whopping 0. That's kind of concerning. That's very, very concerning. So my guys, where is the good shit? Please, my based artists, I know y'all are out there. But honestly, because StarRail and Genshin, by extension, has more normies and less degenerates, like myself, because of the normie factor, I do think that this metric to measure the popularity and health of a game is a lot less applicable. And so my guys, let's wrap this willy up with some predictions. It's day 10 right now. There's about 43 million in measurable revenue. And in a few more weeks, we will see the release of your boy Jingyuan. And so there will certainly be another revenue spike. So by day 30, I think personally, by day 30, we will have hit about 100 million in revenue. But on top of that, apparently, there are rumors about the next 3 patches with all of these characters. I don't see the revenue stopping anytime soon, my guys. And I'm pretty inclined to believe this, considering this is exactly what Genshin did. Absolutely no reruns until about 1.4, 1.5. So the gravy train is just gonna keep coming and coming and coming. However, in terms of downloads and StarRail enjoyers, I do think that we are past the peak now, and there won't be any more crazy growth unless they do stuff like this. Railway Shinjuku Station and just play a massive ad along the whole hallway. This is just going to do that growth, the growth where it just goes up, just utterly insane. Regardless, my guys, let me know your thoughts on how the game is doing down in the comments below. How do you feel about the game, and how do you feel about the people around you feeling about the game? Yeah. But otherwise, y'all already know the drill. Like, subscribe, notification bell on, and as your favorite trash enjoyer once said, all good things must come to an end. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.